The purpose of power steering. If you were born before 1980, you probably remember needing two hands to crank the steering wheel around the corner. Some called the lack of power steering Armstrong power steering, meaning you needed two strong arms to make a corner. Cars and trucks have come a long way since then. Power steering helps the driver turn a vehicle by assisting effort of the steering wheel. Hydraulic or electric actuators add controlled energy to the steering mechanism, so the driver needs to provide only modest effort regardless of conditions. The benefit of power steering is much greater when the car is stopped or moving slowly. These systems have jumped by leaps and bounds over the last 20 years. Some newer vehicles even use power steering to park themselves. History of power steering. The first power steering systems were developed in the early 1900s. As trucks began to grow larger, many manufacturers began exploring how steering could be made easier. In 1926, Francis Davis invented and demonstrated the first practical power steering system. He joined General Motors and refined the hydraulic-assisted power steering system, but they decided it would be too expensive to add to their vehicles. It is said that his idea never became widely popular until World War II. The new armored cars and heavy tank recovery vehicles needed power steering assistance for easier operation. It was not until the early 1950s before power steering was added to commercially available passenger cars. These systems were based on some of Davis's expired patents. Most of today's vehicles have power steering. Front-wheel drive, large SUVs, and wider tires all increase the required steering effort and the need for power steering. Keep the power steering system turning. Most power steering systems work by using a hydraulic system to steer the vehicle's wheels. A power steering pump driven by the engine usually provides the hydraulic pressure for the system's operation. The power steering fluid cleans, cools, and lubricates the power steering pump and system. Like any fluid, it breaks down over time and becomes less effective. So the better you maintain your fluids, the longer the parts will last. When should power steering fluid be changed? Every person has different driving habits, types of vehicles, and travel areas. Because of this, there is not a set schedule when power steering maintenance should be completed. If the fluid is dirty or dark, it is probably time to change it. If it's extremely dark or gritty, the system may need flushing. This grittiness can cause damage to the pump. If the fluid is low, you may need to look for leaks. If there are no leaks, then it may be time to flush the system there as well. As a general rule, the fluid should be changed every 2 years. Many premature failures to this system are preventable. Without proper maintenance, the power steering pump could get ruined. This unexpected bill could be costly. The lesson is to take care of your vehicle, and it will take care of you. Just like any operating part of your vehicle, the reliability of your steering is not just about comfort. It's about safety. When you turn that wheel, you want it to respond correctly. Failure to maintain your ability to steer may prove to be very costly.